are more of a potential catalyst than Jackson Hole.
Hey,
and it looks like traders need NVIDIA to move
because I'm crazy.
a preference
Have
to
you seen the
rally.
NVIDIA? Look, the
Options are
options.
implying a
The options
5.5%
got
move in the shares,
price
which is more than double
6%.
the stock's median swing over the past 4 quarters of reports. The bias is also quite clearly bullish, with calls much more expensive than puts right now, including very far out of the money calls, whose prices are in the 70th percentile compared to the past year. Open interest is very skewed to the upside, with most trades concentrated around the 220 strike, which is right around that expected move. If we beat that, this thing could really take off. On the downside, there's not much trading in options below the 200 strike, so that level really needs to hold to make sure things don't fall apart, Scott.
All right, this is a good look, Oliver. Appreciate that very much. Oliver Rennick. Finals after this break.
So we can see here that let's look at the NVIDIA. Yeah. Let's look at the NVIDIA and let's look at the options. So I can show you my portfolio. Yeah, obviously I'm 48% plus this month. For last 3 months, 34%. I did a lot of trades here. I did a condor, as I told you. So I was right, The volatility is, it won't go up so much. But as well, I did the recapitalizing the volatility and the gamma and the decay. So if you do the condor, congratulations, you 100% up now. And I did as well a lot of options. I start to purchase a lot of cheap options. Spread calls, 205, 215. That's the big one, right? So I have to be between 25, 215. Then I bought 210, 220. Now it's 209, so I have to stay. That's the second bar spread. I bought 195, 200. And now I'm interested in buying more. I hold some Hood. I as well opened the spread on the Visa, which is 380 to 390. Visa is currently 382 or something like that. I bought some shares of Amazon, and I did a butterfly on the Micron, and I bought a shares of butterfly. I bought a butterfly on expiration end of September on Micron 1,100, 1,200, 1,300. It's kind of a trade. With capital of $1,000 can make me up to $7,000. I bought some CLS, CrowdStrike, Meta, spreads. Today I bought 585.75 bull spread, and this is some joke. This is some kind of lottery ticket for $40 UNH. Now, what I gonna do? And of course, I bought NVIDIA. I bought NVIDIA shares, so I have $6,000 shares. I bought it pretty cheap, and MO5 Micron 5,000. Now I'm looking at the very cheap options, So 195. Let's say the perfect would be 2 to 209 or 195 to 200, right? So let us see bull spread. Because obviously everybody thought that NVIDIA will rack it up, and it will. You see, it's the biggest company, there's no question about this. But everybody wanted to happen. That's why the psychology rules the world. Then everybody wanted to happen, so the market put it down. And now when they afraid it won't happen, it will flip back.
All right, how's this lineup? 3 o'clock. We're going to surround this NVIDIA thing right
like
up to the print.
But you have to know
Stacey Rascott, Dan Ives, Ankur Crawford, Doug Clinton, Brian Belsky, Bryn Talkington, Malcolm Edwards. By the way, the U.S. Open also starts. Patrick McEnroe will be right here, too.
You got to ask him about NVIDIA?
You can't wait for that. He probably owns it like everybody else.
See this
All right,
portfolio
final trades. Robin.
Helmet Aerospace.
Oh, there is
Okay.
Micron's building momentum. NVIDIA's going to blow it out of the water, and it's going to lift Micron and other names.
So,
okay, Carrie.
Let's go to
Flowserve industrial pumps, power plants.
Way to look at the clock today, Carrie. Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Joe.
Valero went through a 10-day consolidation period to work off overbought conditions. Time to rebuy it.
All right, so we're red across the board. We'll pick it up at 3 o'clock for the final trade on closing bell. The exchange is now. And welcome to the exchange, everybody. I am Brian.
So let's
Kelly
listen on
Evans. Once
CNBC
again, thanks for joining us. And happy NVIDIA earnings day.
Stocks holding steady right now as the world waits for those results in just over 3 hours. The 10-year bond yield hovering right around 4.65%. Oil briefly falling back below $80 on real hopes for lasting peace. But yeah, we've been here before. So we'll ask Kalima Croft where she thinks things are going. Oil popping back up a little bit right now. Inside of stocks, some big tech a little bit lower. The aforementioned NVIDIA, along with Intel, Broadcom, and more, down about 1%. The market really getting primed and pumped for those numbers. But you also don't have to wait for the latest inflation read because that already came in, and it came in just a touch hotter than expected for July. But is that enough to change Kevin Warsh's calculus with his big Jackson Hole policy speech just about 48 hours away? There are a lot of questions to kick it off, and we've got a great guest for you. That is Venu Krishna. He is head of U.S. Equity Strategy and Global Equity Linked Strategies at Barclays. Venu, great to have you on set. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we got rates, we got Warsh, but I got to start with NVIDIA. The numbers out tonight. I know you're not a single stock analyst, but how important are the numbers and the guidance for the macro market?
Very important, because the single biggest driver of equity markets right now has been the AI narrative, and NVIDIA is in the center of that. And if you look at, for example, the options market, till last, the market is actually giving more importance to NVIDIA earnings than even Jackson Hole event.
So fair to say then, I don't want to put words in your mouth, you could put the words in your own mouth, but NVIDIA does have the ability to move this market either way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if the numbers come in good, more importantly, if the guidance comes in good, the numbers are going to be the numbers. Everyone expects them to be good. It's the guidance. Does that give the market another leg up? What would it take for the market to take a hit?
You know, the AI narrative shifting downwards, and there are a number of different reasons or catalysts it can take. For example, power has been a big constraint. Anything negative on that? What if models start plateauing, which hasn't happened yet? Funding now is a big issue because now we expect the hyperscalers to be spending more than 90% of their operating cash flows in CapEx, so which means that they will need funding. But so far it's not been an issue, but the credit markets are having some indigestion with the scale of issuance. And then, of course, don't forget the regulatory and social pushback on data center growth, for example. So I think a lot of things can go wrong, but if you take a step back, I think what is important and the reason we continue to be bullish is that the companies spending are posting excellent earnings. Mm-hmm. And what we have seen for them is their returns have taken a bit of a breather compared to the last 3 years. Their earnings are well over 30%, but their multiples have come down 3 to 4 handles. Mm-hmm. And we love that combination because these companies have the capacity and the ability to spend. And when they spend trillions of dollars, those trillions are effectively revenues for a host of other sectors.
Fair enough. We have the head of the actual central bank, Kevin Warsh, chairman of the Fed, speaking on Friday. There was an article the other day that called NVIDIA the central bank for AI, for technology. If you had to scale it, is one more important than the other, NVIDIA or Kevin Warsh? Who you got?
So it's a great question, but I would broaden it.
It's TV. We like simple things.
I want to broaden it a little bit and say two big important factors in the market which can aid or derail the market. One is the AI narrative, which includes at the center actor is NVIDIA, and of course the other hyperscalers are spending. But rates are important because, the point, if you look at the history of the equity market in the US, there is a very strong negative correlation between equities and the 10-year rates when they hit close to 5%. That's an important threshold. And
which is probably why Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary,
is trying to push it down.
Right.
And I think we are in that danger territory because we are above 4.5%. So that's something you want to watch. And that does have implication because the market has priced, we had cuts in the beginning of the year, then we went flat, and now we're pricing an increase. And a lot depends on what the new chairman tries to do and where we end. So on the margin, the risk is that the rates are either flat or they go up, not that they're going to get cut. So I think this is a very critical phase for the equity markets.
Is there a way to measure the risk of a 5% 10-year for the S&P 500?
Well, to the extent that we have such strength in earnings, then that magic number is important, but it's difficult to just peg a number to it. But it's very clear that once you breach 5%, then we move in opposite directions, right? And so then you have to, and the principal mechanism is really the market multiple you pay for it. So multiples have been generally edging down, so you can expect more of the multiple coming down. So to the extent that earnings are holding up, then the equation is different. So what is the rate of decline in terms of multiples compared to the rate of increase of earnings? To the extent that earnings are growing much faster, you could still end up with respectable returns.
But you do remain optimistic. I want to be clear.
Yeah, we have a price target of 7,800. And
so that's not a lot of upside.
Yeah, but for next year, we have a preliminary number of 8,800. So, we're not trying to see what's going to happen the next month. But if you think about the next, call it roughly 18 months, then we have good visibility of earnings. In the short term, though, because of midterm elections, remember that our work shows that August and September are actually the weakest months for heading into midterm. And midterm, generally, we underperform non-midterm election years. So we have a bunch of, I wouldn't call it negative catalysts, but things to be worried about in the short term.
Yeah.
But if you go past the immediate month or 2 months, I think the trajectory is still very respectable and good.
Okay. I like it. We'll leave it there because I like the idea we're going to end with, in your view, a pretty optimistic, pretty good 2027. Next few months could be a little bit choppy.
That's right.
Venu, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So today is almost all about NVIDIA. I mean, the biggest earnings in the world are in a couple of hours. The company's numbers and guidance are going to be more closely poured over than an Agatha Christie crime scene. And your first guest today says that NVIDIA should double its revenue. The question is whether even that is enough to satisfy investors. Joining us now to dive a little more in, Gil Luria, he is head of technology research at D.A. Davidson. So, Gil, you probably just heard the macro view from Venu, sort of about how much NVIDIA matters. What are you expecting from NVIDIA tonight?
They will indeed nearly double their revenue, double their earnings and more, and guide well. So that's the good news. The not as good news is they've been doing very impressively over the last few quarters, and it hasn't necessarily shown up in the stock. The difference this time is the stock's actually been fairly weak heading into earnings, which gives it a little bit more headspace today as they report. As for the read-through for the rest of the data center build-out, it should be very positive. We have heard from Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, et cetera, that they intend to spend a lot more. If they spend a lot more, a lot of that is going to NVIDIA and its GPUs, but it also goes to CPUs and memories and the data center build-out, which have been driving the whole growth of the economy. So I would expect to get good news overall. The reaction is harder to read because of nailing down exactly where expectations are and how much upside they choose to report.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, I said this last night at Fast Money, Gil, that I thought like maybe the highest pressure job in finance right now is probably being the CFO of NVIDIA, because like your numbers have to be really good, but you don't want them so good that you can't ever replicate those numbers. How do they thread the needle like that? Because I think the market needs the needle to be threaded in some ways.
I don't think that Colette thinks that way. I think she's more focused on making sure that the investment inside the business is working, the investment in the ecosystem is working. If they double their earnings and they grow earnings at 40% next year, which is what we're expecting.
You see, I just purposely keep it play. So they talking. And what they come out with, bullshit. You want to do some trade, you gotta rely on yourself, right? So we can see that, for example, 195 call to 200, is around $353. But, the maximum profit is 300 and you can lose around 700. Let's say you try to do 195 to 210, okay? So bull spread 195, lower leg 210, okay? Well, the shit don't changing too much. Again, yeah, it's too expensive. It's $1,000. You can lose it and win 500. We don't like this, right? That's why, by the way, I bought my spread so cheap. I bought it the other way around yesterday or day before yesterday, but I had no time to make the video. But you can see that this is it. But if you did this iron condor, congratulations. Now if you put 65% exit, I get out of the trade and you make 60%. So as I expected, there will be extreme, we would trade the volatility, which we did. Besides that, because I'm a motherfucker, obviously, I start to open new trades. So I want to show you the trades I open up. And after this, let's decide. Let's say you want to do some lottery ticket, literally lottery ticket for $20 just for fun. For example, with the butterfly, you see, something like 10, 210, 212, 15, and 215. So let's say it's glued to 212, 15. The $25 can make you $200. It can make you really such a 2,000% ROI. It's totally possible. That's the beauty of the trading of the options. You see, it's totally something, but I gotta sniper it up. But if you throw a couple of $20 and each one makes you to $100, $20 can make you 5,000. You would not do this, or you lose $50, or you make $5,000. I call it a pretty good rate. So let's see back what we got over here. So I'm loaded pretty good, I use the oh my god, this is so slow. I don't know why I have fastest internet, but this is Spain. Even in Sri Lanka, the internet was faster. This is the communistic countries here. So communist, the Spanish. Since they bankrupted, after they plundered Latin America, I never fastest joke in the world. Spanish works. Spanish person works. That's it. You see, I mean, like, yeah. So fuck it. Anyway. So here we go, right? So I want to go back to the portfolio where I am. So they talking, you see, and none of them they knew nothing. None of them, you see, they knew nothing. They knew shit. But I want to show you. Come on. I want to show you what did I buy. I bought 3 options, I think, or 4. I think 3. Jesus Christ, man, it's really breaking my balls. This system is, you can do nothing with it, even though you have a fast internet. It's just like, it's so annoying in Spain, you see. So here we go. Okay, it was a little bit my mistake. Fuck it. Yeah. So there is some, on the beginning I was 1260. So you remember, so I'm still 200 plus. So this normal fluctuation, like it's a couple of hundred, mean nothing. I'm still this week 200 plus. So the options already made me $200. And look what I got here. Yeah, I got NVIDIA, beautiful options. I got 205 to 215. Now NVIDIA is currently, as I told you, 210. I told you there will be volatility and we can trade it up. The condor of mine already ceased to exist. But if you went with this trade, I told you, congratulations. You make around 80% out of $200. You make, if you buy it for $1,000, you make 30% out of it. Yeah. So, but I mean, 80% of the trade of 30% is around 20%. So let's say every $1,000 make you 200. So I opened this condors for $5,000. I made around, I made around, I don't know, like $200-300, something like that. So because I closed the trade 30% of the 30%. So the trade was not so much profitable, but you don't find $200-300 on the street. You could do it more, but the situation changed and I had no time to make the video. And while I was doing this, I bought 205 yesterday, 215 very cheaply. So very barato, or mierda, fucking cheap fuck. The price was very cheap. So I bought it around for 200, and you can strike up to, let's look at the trade, how the trade is structured. 205 to 215. So let's say I pretend I want to close the position, which I don't want, but I want to show it to you because it won't be really closed. So I put the order here 4.83. So you could see that the option cost me around $220, and 85% of my trade will be 480. So I'm talking about 85%, you see. So I'm gonna go back and I'll show you another one. So if all these trades are okay, I make $1,000 within a couple of minutes or end of the Wednesday, and the trade will get closed. Because exactly happened what I was saying, and it was nothing else that the stocks would decay before the announcement, and then it will go up. There's no question about this. But we all want it. That's why it's not happening. That's why the market playing game with us. Oh my God, this Schwab bullshit is. But I would recommend everybody the Schwab, even though if you have no U.S. Residency there, you cannot trade some some things. But okay. But I like it, honestly. So then 210, 212. So let's look at this trade. 210. Sorry, it was 210, 25 was one. Let's look at the 215, 220. Or let's look at the last one, which is 995 and 200. There was the one which I was looking to trade it, right? And beautiful, $359. I bought it around for $130, 150. You see, and the exit is around 3.59, which means that I will exit with 85-90%. I didn't put here stop, so now I will put some mark stop here, so let's say I bought the options, I'm so lazy to calculate it. I bought the options 195, 200, September 18 expiration, 195 lower leg, vertical call, and when I want to close it, what is the best price? 3.65 is unlimited, So what is the best price of the expiration? 85% gain. You see, you can use this ChatGPT or whatever Claude. You can picture it. You can ask. You see, that's a great. It's a great helper. Just don't ask the trade, because Alex Karp, the sociopath, says only two jobs won't be replaced: neurodivergent people, a little bit wacko people, and ADHD and everything, original thinkers, philosophers, and traders. And the best philosophers are traders. But the algorithm doesn't know how to trade. The trade is emotional thing, you see. So you use it like to tell you, use it like sum it up to calculate, for example. But all these programs which telling you that the chart goes up, then it's all scam, it's all bullshit, you see. So I picture it. So once you wanna make the algorithm, the ChatGPT trade for you, don't do it, please, because you will lose a lot of money and it doesn't work, or you'll finish like some idiot, like Mr. Aschenberg with $35 billion down. What a great story. By the way, would somebody like to start a hedge fund, I mean, like, if I make 50% per 30 days, I think there's no problem. Of course, something different is to do it with the portfolio of $20 million. You see, you put you try to walk on the little path or on the little bridge, and there is 10 kilometers abyss. You're so much scared. But you put the path between, two bricks, and only what can happen, you fall down 20 centimeters. Then you walk it here, there, where, you jumping on it. The trading is a psychology. Yeah. The challenge of this project is to grow $10,000 portfolio in 200,000 within 1 year, and make 20-30% per month, if it's really possible. Yeah. So the 365 showing is the closing credit you're asking for. The spread's absolute maximum value is 5 because the strike are blah, blah, blah. For an 85% maximum spread value, exit 5, 4.25. So I want to make 4.25, 4.25, and that's how it works. When I want to just get the fuck out of here. I put GTC, good till not only date, yeah. Find it in the history how much I pay for this original debit, and it was 195,200. Right. So that's what basically is happening here. You see? So it's telling me 4.80. So I put 4.80, good till TTC, 4.80. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Review, and so long. Now I place the order. I don't give a shit. So this is the options I own. 200, 215, 210, 220, 195, 200. Yeah. So all in all is around how much now? 3,000, $4,000, $5,000, which can make me $4,000 with 85%. So after the earnings, the $5,000 can make me $3,000, or I can lose the $5,000, or I somewhere break even. You see, the other trade which I would recommend you now, even for long term, is a Visa, because it's pretty stable, the stock, and I think that Visa can hit, something is in there. You can see it. The 2027 will be wild, and many get poor, just few rich. The gold already faking, falling down. Silver is still doing, so it's a madness. It's a madness. Now the semiconductors will fall apart like a crook of shit. You see, it will be massacre. But you can demontage this massacre and make a lot of money. You can have a lot of fun when fucking star and political representation of the USA or some country falling down. You can have a lot of fun with your American friends. You see? Imagine you looking at some hero deteriorated, civilization called USA. And you see these people who never make it back on the Mayflower. And they fucking dying all over there. And you're sitting here in Europe and you're making a lot of money. If you're a little bit cynical person, you can say, cheers. The best capitalism at its finest, you American motherfuckers. You know what is funny thing about American people? They will never, I repeat, never ever understand how stupid they are. That's their problem. They vicious cycling. That's a problem of narcissistic disease. The narcissist like Donald Trump, when he's really down, then he even want to commit suicide. He's so depressed. He's a little baby, you see. He's like a little bunny. He was so much abused, when he was a kid. His mother was not there. His father was sociopath. But it's all masks. In these lower parts of his psychology, just like the markets, he looks most invincible, and he's invigorated, he's crazy, he's just, just the opposite as he feels or as he is. You see, the USA is nothing than stupid, dirty, fucking spawn dog with so many racists and shits and stupid political ideas. And he was fascistic cock the tart by J.D. Vance and his fucking mother with the fucking shirts from Walmart, And now the fucking USA is falling apart, all that shit falling apart, I mean, like, what would you expect 300 fucking years, right? You put it behind the nail in the fucking Europe, right? So, I don't know if before the medicine on the infection was invented or USA was invented before. I'm joking, right? But obviously the antibiotic effects and democratical effects. I mean, some idiots in USA figuring out that most probably when you take democracy and laissez-faire and free market, capitalism, and you put it together, supposedly they came to conclusion it all blow up and democracy cannot go together with capitalism. Oh, really? And you find this now in USA? And may I ask you a question? Are you a crystallic idiot? Are you half retarded or fool? Even Fukuyama in 90s, this idiot figured it out, I mean, like, I think that Robespierre, who was the last guy who finished on the head razor or guillotine, as English people say, really figured out that democracy and the capitalism doesn't fit together. Already a couple 100 years, right? But this is the world owned by pigs, run by wolves, you see, and created by rats. And it's always been like that, and it will be like that. And always there will be something who is responsible for your fuck-up life. Either it's a fucking billionaire, Karl Marx, Hitler, or your little dick, or whatever it is. But you just schmuck. The truth is that the capitalism is here since we crawled from the caves. And the rest is your personal bullshit story. You see, you know where you are right now. You know how to get there, and you can get there if you're honest with yourself. And I'm telling you that you can really make a fucking fortune. You can make a money here. You see, I'm not especially, I'm not so much interested to spread this knowledge or inspire somebody. But trading is a lonely thing. You gotta be alone. You gotta be like a monk in this apartment, in these hotel rooms. You gotta be with your feelings, you know what I say? Or maybe you don't really like people, or you go out sometimes, or whatever it is, So you can kill the boring monotonous thing and make some videos, and you could maybe find the pearl in the mud. You see? So let us see if we can keep sustaining and making some butter and honey here from Uncle Tom, right? Because we are, let's check the portfolio. Ta-da! 3 months, 35%, ladies and gentlemen. 35% for 3 months, 1 month, 50%. You can see the 50%, I double the fucking money. It makes sense because I was around 7 grand when I started here or something like that. So let us see what brothers and sisters saying here. Let's put this beauty here, what she's telling. Do you observe that the IQ of the Bloomberg, CNBC, or Schwab TV presenter is around, I don't know, it's not bigger than size of your shoes, And I would not blame these people. They have no analytical intelligence. But I would blame them. They don't understand the psychology, because psychology rules the world. It's all about feelings. That's how the market works. It's all same story. Every idiot can figure out that it's contrarian. Then the other thing is to stick to the cold-bloodedly, sociopathically, what's going on. That's the other thing. But it's easy.
What's so interesting about this settlement is it makes so much of Meta's compliance, $5 billion that they would be spending, contingent on the participation of these other platforms. And it seems like Meta was really arguing that this isn't just a Meta problem. In fact, YouTube and TikTok are more appealing to teens than Facebook and Instagram are, and that was a key part of their appeal here to the AGs.
All right, Julia Boorstin, big story there and an important story as well. Julia, thank you.
By the way, I bought a Meta spread. Maybe you can see it here. I bought it today, and it was perfect trade. And I keep the expiration until September. All these expirations are until September, you'll see. So you can see my Meta spread is here. Right now I'm 30% positive, so 12%, sorry. They changed this. So it's like some kind of a break even, sorry. Yeah, so it's like $5 plus. So the Meta which I bought was 575 to 580, and the expiration is 18th of September, and we're talking about this trade. I want to show it to you. 580, 575. I would still recommend this trade for 2-3 weeks, Meta, and that's it, you see. So again, we can, for example, ask the ChatGPT here and say, hey, you remember my trade with Meta 200, 580, 575, 580. Finding in the history, what is the best exit strategy? 85%, 80%, 2.55. You would buy the net credit, you would sell it, or no, it's around 4.5 or something like that, because I didn't put any exit there. So I picture it. So the Meta, even the shares, or NVIDIA now, if you don't want to do the options, oh my God, I'm talking too much, I'm sorry. If you want to do the Visa, you buy a Visa shares, you buy Meta, you buy NVIDIA, yeah? There is CrowdStrike, there is Celestia, CL, what is the name of it? There is Net, Cloudflare, yeah? There is Uber, yeah? So, but, yeah, so 4.65. So the cost, I bought a two, each one 264, maximum profit 236. So I can make 95% with that shit. But I'm pretty okay with 80%, 4.5 free. So I put a credit 4.5 free, and every $260 make me 80%, of this trade. Yeah. So I bought 500. If 500, both of them make me 400 or something, I'm okay. 80%, 4.65. You see? So this is the spread. Good till cancel. 406. I get payback $460 for this one spread, which I bought for 230. Ta-da! So long. Okay. So I'm wondering why there are no two. It's possible that the trade was already closed. Let me check. I don't think so. Or I just buy only one. I think so far I remember I bought two spreads. Let us see. Oh yeah, I think one of the shit was. I think the trade was already finished, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No? No. Sorry. 1.23%. Of course it was not. So I don't know why. I thought I bought two spreads. Two meta. So I'm not sure why the fuck there are only one. But I figure it out later. Let me figure it out again. Let me go into the pending orders. So yes, this is quite a long video, but at least again, I have no ambition to make it like viral. But if it helps a couple of people to make money, to see how you take care about the trades, so that's basically what you do on Monday or before the trade ends. You work 2 hours per week. Then you can watch it, or you don't need to watch it. You put the orders. That's it. You see, if you wanna have a fun, you can watch it on the TV, play with your dick, whatever you wanna do, right? So yeah, so there is Meta 1 credit for 30, and so I think I bought only one. Look like, yeah. Anyway, don't worry about it. There is this crazy butterfly, which can make me up to $7,000. So I bought it 1100, 1200, or 1300. Expiration the October 2nd, I think, or in October. It's better to trade Micron before. I will try close this trade much early, and it's better to trade it before the earnings. I bought some Amazon shares. Yeah, I think as well Amazon spread and NVIDIA classic vending machine. It was perfect. So it is what it is. Let's come back with the brothers and sisters telling us on CNBC, what is genius is what they find out, you see? That's beautiful. We are back in $13,000. I started on Monday, 2,000, 12,600, so I'm $400 up already on the trades. So it's a big day for NVIDIA. Let us see what's gonna happen, People complain, oh, it made only 30% per year. I agree with you, because 30% is a chicken shit. On the other hand, if I have $1 million and make 300,000, I'll be happy. I will not put it all in NVIDIA. But yeah, so let us close it with some smart talk of CNBC people.
The U.S. escort service, but we are nowhere near normal when it comes to flows through Hormuz. We do know that there have been discussions between the Iranians and Omanis for this new framework. What we don't know is the United States going to sign off on Iran joint managing the Strait of Hormuz? Because apparently all ships will go through an Iranian lane and out a joint.
Let's put it Schwab. Of course, the Iraq
have gone up quite a bit, and as a result, it's actually it even redesigned some of these chips to use less memory. So I think 3%, right? Like this is very, very minimal. And we're talking about, hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue, right? So it's not really going to hurt the bottom line for NVIDIA. We're not talking about a small margin business. But the reality is NVIDIA being the leader, we want to see where memory costs are going to be in the future. So we'll be listening for that and listening for also what the bottlenecks are. What the problem with memory is we just need to have more fabs to build more memory, right? Like it's just, we're constrained by the ability to build it. So NVIDIA will tell tell us a little bit about what's happening there? And by the way, that will impact other companies. It will impact Apple. That will impact SpaceX. So what NVIDIA says is important for the whole AI complex.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's why we discussed it at such length, of course, even ahead of these numbers. But so appreciated. Always a wonderful conversation. Hatan Diab, managing partner at Gerber Kawasaki Wealth Investment Management. Now, coming up next, Meta is settling its teen addiction case. So what does this mean then for shares and, of course, the outlook for Meta? We'll discuss more coming up next.
Schwab is powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized trading support. Connect with the Schwab Trade Desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle your trade.
So I want to show you here that this is the stocks I bought again. There is the spread, but you see CLS and plus today 0.62%. CrowdStrike, I'm 2.20. I hold it for $4,000. Meta is the spread, sorry. I bought a Micron for around, I think, 885 on Monday. Yeah. And how much is it now? How high is it? So Micron is a great thing. I would buy it. I expected on the course of a couple of days or weeks reach to 1,000, 1,100. It will really challenge, and if you want to do classic trades, buy NVIDIA now, buy Micron, and buy Visa. So you have, let's say, 2 semis and 1 classic. So yeah, it's 940, and I buy Micron around on 2 or 3 tranches for $5,600. So I'm 5% up. So it makes me $287 just on shares, the trade. So let us see what's gonna happen in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And you remember, you can still do some nice trade. The options are now quite expensive, but if you follow the Condor, you already made money this week. So what could be more beautiful than in Wednesday? Just call it a night, and you make your this time only 30%, but I think 2 days 30% trade is not so bad, no, is it? So now you can see that the stock is reacting, is like up down. You see, and now it start to lift a little bit, and we can see that it will rack it up. Yeah. Okay. Capitalism at its finest. Nothing else I can add. And good luck and good night.